Good evening, everybody. How are you doing today? Good to see familiar faces and good to welcome um, those who are still getting acquainted to what we do, what we are about. So, today is being the last Thursday of the month. We try to bring a little bit of an opportunity for us to be a little more introspect, go inside and revisit places that will bring us more calm, more peace, and more serenity. So that's what we call the Meditation Spiritism series. So meditation, it's something kind of broad. There is so many different types of meditation, but meditation as a practice, meditation as a philosophy, it's really all different types of meditation. They all come to the same, which is to promote peace, to find ourselves in a place that it quiets down all the noise around. If you look at the very ancient meditators, like in India and other places in Asia, like right, the Asians, this is a practice that it goes thousands and thousands of years ago, and it's a good thing. And so when there is a good thing, we learn from it, right? And we take we take the reasoning of Spiritism, because Spiritism is also philosophy, science, and we combine those two forces together. We combine the um, the strengths, and we can even make the most of it. So the way we have designed a program, we end of last year we included um, a part of mental health as part of our program. We had a Natasha join our team, Christiane and I started this program some time ago. So Natasha, she's a mental health professional, so she came in, and Christiane does meditation. She studied meditation for many, many, many years. She was a yoga instructor, and she's a occupational therapist herself. And I come in as a sort of like a project manager, and we offered the best we have. Today, we found it to be very appropriate for us to have a more spiritual meditation. We have different types of meditation. Christianity sometimes bring us, transport us to a place of just let's just be there, let's just relax our mind, and because there is no prescribed way, to meditate this way, that way. It's like the purpose is for us to find peace and quiet the noise and see how I can make this time a time that there is, it's like this. You've been collecting garbage, and you have been collecting stuff that is not necessarily garbage, but it's recyclable stuff, right? Everything here in your mind. And you have to put that in a compartment, and you have to manage that. Even the garbage, you have to manage the garbage. And you cannot wait until the garbage man, the garbage truck, passes by your neighborhood so you can put the garbage out and the recyclable out, and then great, now you know uh, everything is cool, and then you can start again. So this is pretty much like a very simplistic concept of taking that break, of just, you why do we have to collect garbage and wait for the garbage truck to come? Let's just, when I say garbage, I'm talking about all this vibration that it's part of our being. people around us, everything that we think, everything that it's always action and reaction. And the idea is for us to react to the environment, to people, to our own feelings in a way that it's productive, and you can recycle, stay just with the good stuff. Stuff that doesn't belong, you just let go. And when I say that we're many ways for us to do a meditation, there is a meditation that it's more spiritual. It's more like when you take your time for a prayer, when you take your time to be in contact with God, when you take time to be in contact with the universe, and you find yourself, I might not have a great relationship with God or with Jesus, but I feel so connected with this universe. And there is a creator, there is a force behind it, and I want to be more connected to it. We have this need and this urge of belonging. It is part of who we are, that's part of our nature, and it makes us feel good that we're not feeling alone. We are not just beings that are just walking aimlessly, idly, without having a purpose. So we chose this part of the gospel, and we bring here Jesus as a great healer, and we bring here one of his teachings, one of the healings that he performed, that to my understanding and to my feeling of how this teaching was, it's one of the most effective way for us to feel that sense of belonging, to us to give meaning to faith, to give meaning to this connection to life, to God, and to even promoting self-healing. Because when we talk about self-healing, it's the first thought that comes, it's like general, and don't take it too personal, okay? You're a good self-healer, good for you. But in general, people see as it's utopic. It's, how can that be, right? You know, there's medication out there, there's good doctors, there's good clinics, there's good treatments. But when we say self-healing, the self, it's out here. We have a whole army of good stuff that we can promote our self-healing. So that's what we're going to explore. That I'm gonna go over one of foundations of in the Spirit's book, what brings us to select that, and we play the video, and then after that, towards the end, we're gonna do a meditation for us to kind of take everything in and go make that work and find a place of serenity inside of us with that message. Is that okay? Is that a good plan? Okay, good. You guys feeling all right? It's good to see all you guys here tonight. You know, we are used to see a bunch of spirits, and but you guys we're all spirits too, right? There was a time when I wasn't doing this talking, you know, our preparation was, we stayed in a room that probably there was one or two people sometimes when they show up. That was my preparation many years ago. And it was very relevant, and it was very important, because we know there were many souls in that space. And it's like we are so attached to the material and the physical, the touch and everything, that I was just preparing messages and some talks and some reflections, and there was most times there was nobody there. Small room, and I felt kind of interesting. And with time, I started getting feedback. Wasn't that crazy? I was getting feedback, and it was not coming from. At the end, I was like having a feeling that the message was received, and it was received well, sometimes even some criticism. But anyway, it's good that you're here. It's good that we're here together. This is in question number 920 on the Spirit's book, and it's so fundamental. The question is, can people enjoy complete happiness while on earth? And the answer is like, no. We're talking about complete happiness. No, because life has been given to them, us, as either a trial or an expiation. It is up to them to mitigate their misfortunes and be as happy as possible while on earth. So breaking it down, trial, it's our journey to get better. At one point, we're going to get to perfection as best as we can. It's going to take many lifetimes, but we all move forward. We all get better. We're going to get from a state of being a very primitive spirit being to a less primitive, to better, to improve intellectually, morally, emotionally, spiritually, and move forward. And our path, this is like, it's like us getting close to God, to the pure spirits, and being that closeness. Like we let go matter, we let go these little things that keep us so anchored down to where we are right now. However, trials are those to make sure that we have been promoted to the next level. All right, so stuff will happen. Oh, you think you ready to go to the next class? Okay, let's see how you're doing here. And we get trials. Expiation, the term pious is taking it's reparation. Let's put it like this. Change the term from expiation, translate to reparation. That means like we messed up many lifetimes ago. We have done stuff to people, to ourselves. We have hurt. We have done very bad things, not because we're bad. It's because of ignorance. We're mostly ignorant rather than bad per se. So as we move forwards and we go through this experience, we get to these relationships, we have marriages, we have children, we have partners, we have jobs, we have talents, we put into work, we don't do nothing about it. It's just like the parable of the talents, right? Sometimes you are very invested, sometimes you are nothing. So we have to repair stuff that we have been traumatized from the past. I'm not talking about 10 years ago. It could be 10 years ago, but we're talking about 10 lives ago or less reincarnation ago. And we meet the same people again, different types. Sometimes, they're our own children. Sometimes they're good friends. Sometimes they're people that, if we have a relationship, it's not by accident. If we have a relationship, we meet people that we're supposed to meet, and we're supposed to work with them together. So we both we repair stuff that has gone, and we both get promoted to the next level. But we can mitigate, we can repair those misfortunes, and we can now build a new life, right? You can never, like Chico Xavier mentioned, you can never change your past, but you can today start making your new future. So we learn from what has happened, and we're more prepared for the future. We can write our own future. So this is this passage in Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And then I like that picture of it's not the yoke. There's a guy carrying a big rock in the back. For my yoke, it's easy, and my burden is light. And that's how we feel a lot of times when we don't find ourselves in a place of peace, quiet, serenity. We, men and women, and we gotta give to the women because you guys have much better sense of emotional management than us men. For some reason, you guys are much more privileged, and probably you get a bigger trial and a big expiation than we do. So no wonder why women has more longevity than men do. It's because of this way of carrying that big rock in the back there. There are ways to make that huge rock that can be like a mountain, just like, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, we can carry mountains. Meaning, in a very metaphorical way, that we can remove that big mountain that is in our back and transform that into the size of a little mustard seed, which is so little you almost cannot see it. And that's pretty much, this picture here represents our relationship with Jesus. Like spiritually and even morally, we're still as a child. We're still in a very childlike stage. We have, he has come about 2,000 years ago, and he left a very strong message. He left a very strong foundation for us to follow and build, just like it says there in the question before. We can be as happy as possible while on earth. So the teaching, the schooling that we need, the education that we need, it's out there, but it's on us to grow. So we're still in that infancy of our growth, but we're there, right? At one point, we were not even that child. At one point, we were just a speck, and we have gone long ways, and we still have long ways to get where we need to. So the next, and this is the center of our reflection tonight. We're going to reflect on this, talk a little bit about it, because there is this like, how can I use all of this teachings and this, there is this healing power in me, and how can I use that to my growth, to my promoting peace on me? So I'm gonna probably just, if you can cue these lights a little bit for the video. Thank you, Tim. I'm gonna play here. I think we need a little sound. Let's watch the
Master, who did sin? This man or his parents said he was born blind.
Neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Go, wash in the pool of Siloam.
Is this not he that sat and begged? This is he.
No, he is like him.
I am he.
How were thine eyes opened?
A man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight.
Where is he?
I know not.
How did you receive your sight?
He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed, and do see.
This man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day.
How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles?
What sayest thou of him?
That he hath opened thine eyes.
He is a prophet.
Go bring his parents. Is this your son, who thou sayest was born blind? How then doth he now see?
We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. Or who hath opened his eyes, we know not.
He is of age. Ask him. He shall speak for himself.
Give God the praise. We know that this man Jesus is a sinner.
Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see.
What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes?
I have told you already, and you did not hear. Wherefore would you hear it again? Will you also be his disciples?
Thou art his disciple. We are Moses' disciples. We know that God spake unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not from whence he is.
Why, herein is a marvelous thing, that you know not from whence he is. And yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that God heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of God, he could do nothing.
Thou wast altogether born in sin, and dost thou teach us?
Dost thou believe on the Son of God?
Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him?
Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee.
Lord, I believe.
For judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind.
Are we blind also?
If ye were blind, ye should have no sin. But now ye say, we see. Therefore your sin remaineth.
Okay, so what do you think about that passage? There are so much in this passage. There is a lot of symbols. There are a lot of meanings, but the most important meaning is that we are represented by the blind. This blind man, and we're gonna break down in three parts because there's a lot of hypocrisy going on everywhere, before, during, and after, and there is a lot of misconception, even for us who believe in God, we have faith, we consider ourselves good people. consider ourselves worth of receiving grace and miracles and the lessons, at least that I extracted. First, just to recap, Jesus encounters the man that was born blind. And the first thing that his disciples ask, Master, who's seen this man who was born blind or his parents? Do you notice the pointing of the fingers? The indifference? The hypocrisy? And we can relate to that ourselves. We do that all the time. Because here comes Jesus and his students. The disciples were his students. In the culture and the tradition and the understanding, if you see somebody who's impaired, somebody who's handicapped or sick or in need in general, not even necessarily that you have a physical impairment. You can have any kind of impairment. The first thing that comes to mind is the judgment, and that's what they did. They were judging. In order for somebody to be suffering this much or this kind of affliction, it's because they have some kind of debt, or they have it's part of their, what we call the karma, right? So the first question, if that wasn't him who sinned, it was his parents. And they did have inside of them this understanding that there is the reincarnation, and there is this, and what we're talking about, there is this journey of us making mistakes and coming back, repairing. That's what we're talking before, the trials and the expiation. So in other words, is he spying for himself, or is the fault his parents? So pointing finger, making judgment. And Jesus says, no, not at all. Not at all. You guys are getting everything wrong here, guys. That's not why this man is blind. He is blind in order for through him, the power of God, the power of our Father can be shown, can be manifested. And that's the first teaching that we get here. It's like we are all, regardless what kind of impairment we have, we all gonna find and face some kind of impairment and some kind of place that we can be in the side of the blind, or in the side of the passerby, the others who find themselves to be normal and you are the abnormal. So you're gonna find those people who sees the speck on somebody's eye and then don't see, quoting Jesus, right? They don't see the bar that's in their eye. That's the blind, not the one that has the speck. But it's easy to be indifferent. It's easy to just pass by and let the person be. So it's a justification of us, for us not to do nothing, just carry on with our business and not helping, even if you don't help, but at least if you to have compassion of somebody suffering, and don't make that kind of judgment. And if we are in the side of the blind man, the person who is going through, in his case, since he was born, so it's a whole lifetime, it's a grown man, a whole lifetime worth of suffering and pain and misfortune. Instead of just sitting and feeling sorry for yourself, feeling guilty, or being in this constant state that I am not worth it. That's why my situation is like this, or why is this happening to me? And that it's not what the message is. That's the more our pain, the bigger our pain, the more God is paying attention to us. The more that we're going to find help and assistance, but we have to be open for it. Why we're not open for it? Why doesn't that happen as much as it should happen? It is because we are limited in our faith. We're limited in our expectations. We're just living here in the moment. If you're thinking about, I am product of God, and regardless of my limitations, of my handicap, I am capable and I am loved, and things will change. God is with me. In this case of this man, his faith was there. That's why we are mostly on the side of this blind man. That's why he represents pretty much us. Look at his situation. We have to take into context his situation. So we figured out that he was a Jewish man, and he was a man of faith because he was sitting in a place called, it was like by a pool, by a tank called the Silhouette. Silhouette was a special place where if you have some kind of impairment or disease and you need to receive cure, if you sit around there was an angel will come from time to time. Sometimes many years will pass by, there was no angel. And this angel would agitate the water. When the water was agitated, if you get to the pool real quick, and if it was the right time, and everything happens in such a way, you're going to receive the cure. You're going to receive a miracle. So that's why he was sitting there. And there are another passage in the gospel that talks a little more in detail about this, that explains the situation. So he was there. He had faith. Number one, the faith was there. He believed that he was going to get healed sometime. It's just that he was just there waiting. So here comes Jesus. And Jesus had cured many blind men before. And just imposing his hands, you have faith. Your faith has made you well. There were some healings that Jesus was not even present. And just by his magnetism, by his will, he cured, he healed. He healed from a distance. Thousands of people. But in this particular case, he performed the healing in two parts. His part and the blind man's himself, his part. He spat on the clay on the ground, and he placed that clay on the blind man's eye, and he knew, Jesus knew in heart, this is a man with faith. But he doesn't have enough of faith for him to perform his own self-healing. So, here, I'm going to do my part. Now you're going to do your part. Go and wash yourself in the pool and see what happens. So we saw the scene, right? And he goes and he washes himself, and little by little he starts to see. That's the education about faith without actions. It's dead in itself. We need to move. We need to take action. We need to understand, number one, why we have faith. And number two, what do I do with that faith? What is necessary? So this act of him cleaning himself and doing the second part of his healing is the part of take action. And to complete the whole thing, for you to have a lasting faith, is that you believe so much, and you do not attribute, you do not give praise only for yourself. You recognize that there is this harmony to the source where you get your healing from. And you are not ashamed to talk about it. You're not ashamed to give testimony, and you're not ashamed or you're not afraid that somebody is going to question your faith. You're going to question your beliefs. It's not going to question why you find yourself. So that's what, in the third part, he goes before all of those judges, all of those doctors of the law, and they could pretty much say, you know what? And they told him, you are not healed because of Jesus. It's because he himself a sinner. How come somebody heal on a Shabbat, on a Saturday, right? Saturday was a holy day. And why was Jesus? So if Jesus was healing on a Saturday, it was voided. It was good for nothing. But then look at the hypocrisy, and look how hypocritical it is. And when every time that Jesus was faced with the same thing, and I think, again, guys, it's just my set of beliefs. I think Jesus healed on Saturdays on purpose, only to show how hypocritical we can be. That what's more important, for you to have the traditional respect and have all of this laws and rules and do this, there's a way for you to wash your hands, you have to, what's more important, that or somebody who's in need and you give it a hand and you pick them up, you give this person life? Does it matter if it's on a Monday or on a Saturday? Is God against this person because he suffered on a Saturday? And if I can do this, why not? Faith without actions, it's dead in itself. So all of those who are just formal and legalistic about God doesn't want us to be formal and legalistic, just following a set of rules. It's a personal, intimate relationship. We receive according to what we can give. So the more we are in harmony with this source, with this power, the more we're receiving. And that's why Jesus says, come to me, all of those who are weary, and I'll give you rest, because he can give us rest. Are we waiting by the side of the pool and waiting for the angel to come and stir the water? And that's, if that was happening, it's possible that there was, in fact, through magnetism, there were people that in need. There was probably from time to time some very superior spirit will come there healing people, but there was only a few, and it's just a place of knowing. But the self-healing can be performed by ourselves every day, anytime. We just need to be connected. We need to act upon our faith, believe it. If you think we have a situation that it's impossible for us to actually have healing, do not be afraid. It's not the healing that you can see, it's the healing that you can feel. You cannot reverse cancer, terminal cancer, but you can reverse the state of desperation, the state of lost. There is nothing worse in life than losing hope. That you feel so abandoned, that you don't feel that you're worth it. This is the pit that we can fall in. And we're the only ones who can get ourselves out of that hole, out of that pit. And it's so easy. If we redirect all of that anguish, all of that fear, all of the sadness into something, I am in this situation and I don't know the reason. And I know it will probably, my day will come. All our days will come. Sometimes it's gonna be in our 20s, in our 50s, in our 70s, in our 90s, whatever, or even early age. It doesn't matter. We're missing the point. The point is, every day, every minute, every hour of our time, it's worth the time that we're here. We have to be connected and be grateful. The moment that we start feeling so sorry for ourselves, we lose sight of everything that we should be grateful for. And that's the point that we're trying to make about the blind man, because we can be blind, knowing that I have to rephrase the words that Jesus said. He says, while I am in the world, I'm the light of the world. But comes a time that there is darkness and nothing can be done. Let's translate that to our reality. While he's in the world, he's the light of the world. While he is in our world, in our mental house, our world is this institution that is not just my body. We are an institution. We are so powerful. We are so incredible. We should not just be living this reality right now of this, what's in outside this institution. I am, you are, we all are so loved. We are so powerful. There is so much good in us. There is a speck of imperfection in us. It's a speck of imperfection that we amplify that by our experiences. So let's not live out of that speck. Let's live of our greatness. We are great, but we need to be connected to the grapevine. We're just a grape that needs to be connected to its mother vine. And that's the message, guys. That's the message for tonight. Let's have more compassion to our own selves. We all have bad moments. And we're always gonna have bad moments. But the potential of having great moments and overcome those bad moments are way higher. So let's try to, in our meditation that we're going to do now, let's try to use that. So when we find ourselves in that situation, let's just pick ourselves up. Let's find a connection to Jesus. Let's find a connection to God. Let's find a connection to the universe. Let's find a connection in the macro to find ourselves inside and say, all of that stuff is inside of me. I don't need to be looking at the stars. It's here. Let's work that out and let's start fresh. Let's be hopeful. Let's have faith, but a faith that we can really feel it, and we don't need to worry about how other people will think about us, how I should behave. I know my relationship with God it's right here. Let's do that. Let's go there. Let's try to find ourselves kind of relaxed in our chair. Let's, there we go. We always bring nature to our relaxation because this is the best way for us to have this encounter with God. If you find yourself a little bit of, if you want to open your eyes, if you find yourself a little out of the meditation, get distracted, just look at the screen. Let yourself be immersed by this soft background music. Let's breathe very slowly. And you hold that breath for a little bit. And let go slowly too. And do that. Let's do that a few times just for us to clear not just the air, but also clear our thoughts. Let's breathe in profoundly and hold it for a little bit. And let go slowly. Let's continue to do that. Breathe. As we breathe in, you absorb this energy that's here. You absorb this calm and serenity. And as you let go of any negativity, any thoughts, any emotion that has disturbed you, disrupted the best person we can be. Just keep breathing and enter into a very, very peaceful place. Let's transport ourselves to nature. Let's transport ourselves to the margins of a very beautiful lake with grass, mountains, beautiful trees. This place is so peaceful. Let's bring ourselves there. We are alone, but we know we're not really alone. We're surrounded by this wonderful nature. That's a creation just like me, just like us here. We are a creation from a creator. We are creatures from a loving creator, a loving Father. That's where we belong. We have all of that and much more into our favor. Let's, at this time, visualize that there is this envelope right next to us that is open, and there's an invitation there in this envelope that says, download here all the thoughts, all the emotions, all the negativity that does not belong. So you don't need to carry that any longer. And that is very inviting. The envelope is open, and without making much effort, we start taking from our mind, from everywhere it is, from our hearts, all of those feelings and emotions and images that don't really belong. Sadness is going right straight to that envelope. Guilt, all of those situations that made us feel guilty and sad, it's coming out from our minds, from our hearts. It's going straight to that envelope. Fear, all the fear that we have inside, in our hearts, in our souls, is coming out right now so easily. There it goes, inside of the envelope. Anxiety, all the anxiety that we have to the bills that we need to pay, the future that we still have to build, the expectations that we have not yet met, all of that big responsibility is coming right out. It's inside of the envelope. It's no longer there. We find ourselves free. There is no room for depression. There is no room for sadness. There's no room for guilt or fear. Oof. Everything came right out from our hands, from our minds, from our souls, from our spirit, from our hearts, from everything that we are, this essence. We close this envelope very tightly. In fact, it closes itself. It doesn't matter the size. In the back of this envelope, it's written, "Come to me, all of those who are weary, who are tired, and I'll give you peace. I'll give you my peace, who's everlasting, and you feel my love. Signed, Jesus. We give everything to you, Jesus. Thanks so very much for offering to take away our weight. We know that just having faith in God, in you, in life, having faith on ourselves, it's very good and important. However, we understand your message that we need to take action, be positive. More importantly, we have to forgive, not just in words, but in actions. Because it is in forgiving that we receive forgiveness. Thank you so very much. I understand that now. My mind is so clear. I find myself in this place of pure amazement. It's so great to be here. I'm in peace. I am so surrounded with love. I feel your love. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I know whenever I am in despair, I find myself heavy again, I know what to do. I'll come to this place. I'll talk to you. I will download again anything that does not belong on me, because I know I am worth it. I know I'm capable, and I know I'm loved. I feel that I am so much loved. And because of that, I have so much love to give. And I will grow that feeling by forgiving more, starting with my own self. I forgive myself. I forgive all of the mistakes from the past. And I declare with all my heart and my soul that from now on, I'm gonna make things different, and I will change. I will do whatever is necessary. I know what I need to do. But I no longer be anchored in pain, feeling sorry for myself. I will move forward. And I know you will make provisions for me every time I'm in need. Not just because I feel that I need or that I deserve, but I know that you're there. You're there by my side. I have a guardian angel who's dedicated throughout my whole life to help me, to assist me, just to be with me without any judgment. Thank you so very much. And to close our journey, to come back to reality now in the chair that we're sitting, let's say very silently that prayer that's so powerful, that Jesus taught us, that we cannot just pray, but put all of those verses, those teachings into action, saying and acting on it. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, God. That will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And we know that you are in my world. You are in me. You bring your kingdom of heaven inside of me. You're there. Be done your way, not our way.